Right, how are you, my internet family, and welcome back for another Habits I Formed in My 20s video. This is episode 3. We've done skincare and we've done sexuality. Saucy, killing it in the views thanks to your thumbs ups, so definitely keep them coming if you enjoy this episode. And please do keep leaving your suggestions. So far I've got fashion habits, self-care habits, relationship habits, bad habits I've formed in my 20s, so make sure you subscribe if you're in your 20s and you're interested in that kind of shit. Or if you're just a fan of the accent, I'd say that's why I have about half of my subscribers. Today we're talking about food and diet habits. I'm someone who has made lots of food diary videos in the past and has openly discussed eating disorder recovery, body dysmorphia, so know that I'm coming at this from a place of I don't believe in telling people what to eat because I don't think diets work. And that's the first point. First habit is no diets. I gave up on diets. All of them, forever. Rules, black and white thinking. If you're on a sports team and you don't have any food problems and you need to stick to some diet that your trainer has given you, I'm not going to bash that. If you have diabetes and your doctor has prescribed a certain way of eating, that's fine. I've definitely dabbled in ways of eating when it comes to my IBS problems. 20 months pregnant looking, swollen stomach and gas and chronic belching and farting and constipation and all. That happens to me when I have certain things. We'll get to that. But, I don't consider avoiding things that you're intolerant to that make you literally sick a diet. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the kinds of temporary and restrictive eating plans that a lot of celebrities will promote, that magazines will promote. Cabbage soup diet, maple syrup diet, baby food diet, raw plant-based diet, the one that led me down the orthorexia road. And these videos are just about me and habits I've formed that have greatly helped me and impacted my life in a positive way. I just think they're all bullshit. They're temporary, they're transient. You go on a diet, meaning you'll come off the diet, and I have a lot of experience with them. I've also watched many friends and family members go through yo-yo dieting over the years with the likes of Slimming World and Weight Watchers, and I'm not judging anyone who those things have helped, but not for me. They make me feel like I'm missing out even when I'm not, and they make me prone to binge eating massive amounts of the kind of food that I never really want. So what I believe in, my best food habit that was born of giving up on diets, it was intuitive eating when I'm hungry, eating what I want, both mentally and physically, and stopping when I am full. It's a mind, body, evidence-based approach. There's literally so many studies been done on this, and this is what my eating disorder therapist spoke to me about years ago. It is a way of eating basically where you completely detach what your body looks like, what your weight is, all these ridiculous things that should not have anything to do with the fuel that we put into our bodies, which keeps us functioning and well and enables us to move and to do things that we need to do. Think for a second about a car and the fuel that you put into that car. That has nothing to do with what the car actually looks like. The brand, the paint job, how clean it is, none of that matters. If you have this expensive, flashy, beautiful, perfect looking car and you put water into the fuel tank, not gonna run. You know what I'm saying? Through a lot of ups and downs and periods of being absolutely obsessive about what I would and wouldn't eat, and then just kind of losing all control and eating anything and everything around me to the point that I was so disgustingly full that I'd be brought to the hospital by loved ones. I've learned to honour my body and my health by listening and responding to the direct messages my body's giving me in order to meet my physical needs and my psychological needs. It involves looking at a meal and wiping away any guilt associated with eating this food. It involves respecting fullness, which I think a lot of us are out of touch with. We kind of associate fullness now with a feeling of being absolutely stuffed, where we're just like, oh, I can't even get off the couch. That's not fullness. Fullness isn't feeling sick. It's eating and feeling, okay, I don't need to eat anymore. And then just stopping and carrying on with your life and not spending all of those hours constantly beating yourself up about what you just ate, or thinking, oh goodness, later I better not eat that and that and that because I ate that. You know that I'm sure a lot of you are there right now or have been there. Intuitive eating is all about the pleasure of eating. Food is pleasure. Food for me is, my social life.
This is our VIP lounge. Come to the Sunset Strap. Pretty sure no one else is allowed to sit here because if they could, we wouldn't all fit.
I love going for meals with my boyfriend, with my family. I love preparing dinners. I love cooking. I love eating out. I love the odd takeaway. And that mindset underpins all of the next habits I'm going to talk about, and I'll tell you how they all kind of interrelate. So my next one would be having breakfast every single day. Yeah, I realized years ago, as soon as I started eating a lot more like real food and not just living off Pop-Tarts, that I would always wake up hungry. You know, I was intuitive eating, so I wouldn't necessarily lie in bed snacking all night because I would be full from my dinner / dessert, so I wouldn't feel the need to lie in bed just gorging on stuff. So yeah, I was always waking up hungry, and that has become something that I just make such a ritual out of preparing a breakfast. I get so hungry if I don't get to have breakfast, and you know, if I'm staying in someone's house, I will prepare the night before with the people in case their routine is different from mine. Like, I will make sure there's something for me to have the next morning. And when I'm at home, I like to cycle through the same handful of breakfasts. Love me some chocolate porridge with some nut butter and some berries. That's something I eat tons. I might do fruit and granola and yogurt. I might do scrambled eggs and avocado on sourdough toast, or I might do a massive smoothie. What I find with having breakfast is that it just sets me upright for the full entire day ahead. My brain is just in a better place when it comes to food if I've kind of given myself a nice dose of nutrients in the morning, you know. This does happen on occasion. Say if I'm very hungover, you know, I still allow room for alcohol. You know, it's not necessarily a habit I'm going to promote, but if I wake up after one too many and I can't stomach any food, it'll come, you know, afternoon time, and I will then want to reach for a really dense calorie source, and usually that's something that is going to make me feel not so great, like some kind of overly processed meal and a fizzy drink. I'll just want to put a bunch of stuff into my body that's not really going to nourish my physical self. It might nourish my mental self for a little bit, but on those days I physically feel like trash. I can't fathom the idea of even going for a walk when I'm like that, you know. So if I start the day off well, it has this gorgeous ripple effect for the rest of the day, and I'm more likely to look at my meals for the rest of the day and be like, right, is this going to taste good? Is it nourishing? Am I excited about having this meal? How will I feel after it? Will it make me foggy headed, or will it get me all pumped to work and maybe go to the gym, lift some weight? Having breakfast every day is linked to this next habit of just eating regular meals. See, I don't count calories or anything like that, but the size of my breakfast is generally similar-ish to the size of my lunch and dinner, and then I'll have snacks as well. Might have a little dessert in the evening. So yeah, I never feel deprived and like I need to just go out and eat 10 pizzas because I'm consistently eating, and that's just what works for me. And I know a lot of people kind of, I don't know, they get scared of eating regularly, or they just think that it's just too much, but like your body needs more food than you think it does, like real food, you know. And when you're eating a nice mix of things, like a lot of things that are quite healthy for your body and other things that just taste really good, like a bit of quality chocolate, you know, when you're having a nice mix of those things, you feel satisfied. Your body and your organs are not overworked, and you're not just kind of slugging yourself through life. My next habit is one that I see in food circles as quite controversial, and I would love your thoughts on it down in a comment below. But I've done this since eating disorder recovery because it is very important for me to ensure I am eating enough. My food issues come in when I don't eat enough food every day. That is when I just lose all sense of mental and physical health and wellness. I do not track calories, I do not track macros or anything like that. What I do is write down the specific foods I'm having. This can be a hugely beneficial thing or a not so beneficial thing if you're not choosing to learn and adapt from seeing your habits out there on paper. And I actually explored this in my new novel. I'm a writer too. In case you didn't know, this is my debut fiction novel and it's called If Only. But yeah, I'm reading my boyfriend a chapter every night, and we just got to this part. The protagonist essentially ends up documenting her food to ensure that she is not looking after herself, because in this alternate reality, read more about my book down below, yeah, in this alternative life that she is having the chance to glimpse, she's developed bulimia essentially, and is obsessed with her body and keeping her body looking a certain way to the complete detriment of her health. And you know, she finds this food log where she's witnessing certain days where it's like, you know, just black coffee and just way too much exercise and not enough food, and then as a result of that restriction she'll end up binge eating. This is something I know a lot of my audience have struggled with, and that's why, I don't know, it was really important for me to explore that. Yeah, it's called If Only. But yeah, my habit of tracking food was always about my health, nothing to do with my body, how my body looked. And that is really important. Like if you're considering adopting this habit yourself and tracking your health habits, one of which being your food. I released the Me Time Journal collection, and these journals are fantastic if you want to track self-care habits. I'll link them in the description box. But they have a section for food, sections for water, fruit and veg, supplements, and exercise, on top of loads of other things that you can track in these journals. I'm currently using one of the refill journals. These are a new addition to the line that I launched there in Harry Potter house inspired colours. I'm using the yellow one. And yeah, anytime a food habit slips into my life, does very regularly, like one that doesn't serve me very well and leaves me feeling bad or shit in any regard, I can get on top of it. And if I didn't keep those journals, I wouldn't be able to see these things, or biggie, to spot food intolerances or foods that just don't agree. That is such an important habit, I feel, to pick up. Know what your gut does and does not like, because then even if you want the things that it doesn't like, sometimes you can at least come to peace with the fact that, hey, I can't have that thing every day. And for me, those things, well, there's actually lots of random things, but the main ones are lactose, which is found in dairy, and also gluten, which is a protein found in wheat. However, I can have sourdough bread because it's fermented and it just, I don't know, it just goes down really easily. But yeah, if I have a big irritable bowel syndrome flare up, I can look at my trusty journal and I can see what I ate that caused that flare up. And then if I didn't eat anything that caused the flare up, I know it's likely stress and anxiety related, and I can then adjust my life to prioritize myself a bit more and de-stress and sort that anxiety out. Next food habit I may come under fire for, but if I do, fuck off. For environmental reasons and because I'm really not in support of factory farming at all. I think it's disgraceful and we don't need it. I think it's unnecessary. I am a reducitarian slash, I don't know, flexitarian, whatever you want to call it, but I essentially do my best to really cut down on meat and fish intake. I don't eat them nearly as regularly as I once did. I've been vegan in the past, I've been vegetarian, although I just found that much too eating disorder triggering. I have a lot of bad associations with that time of my life. Also, when I was completely vegan, I experienced a lot of cravings, I experienced a lot of fatigue, I looked rather gaunt, I had brittle nails, brittle hair. Though some people do thrive on vegetarian and vegan diets. My partner, as you all know, Thomas, he is a vegetarian and he is a power lifter, and yeah, he just can't fathom the idea of eating an animal. And I don't have that same connection that he does. Like I feel there is some kind of disconnect there. But yeah, I think if everyone cut down massively, it would be great for the planet. There are so many alternatives where we can definitely get all the protein that we need and we'll be fine. And I do find that saying to yourself, right, this thing isn't completely off limits, but I'm gonna just avoid it when I can. It doesn't set off those kind of obsessive thoughts or anything like that as bad. And I think it's important, like it ties into the intuitive eating stuff. Say even at certain times of my cycle, I'll crave, you know, red meat, and I might eat that once a month. And I do wholeheartedly believe in having that little bit of freedom, supporting local farmers, and just I do my best to boycott factory farmed meat. Yeah, just getting creative in the kitchen. Like when I was vegan, I actually learned how to cook so many things that I never would have learned if I never, well, I know I'm saying vegan, I mean plant-based. Online, those two terms have become one, and it's very hard to unwire one's brain, but I do respect the difference. And then, yeah, when it comes to intuitive eating as well, another thing that I find my diet tends to be around like 70-30 or 80-20 when it comes to like whole foods and then just stuff that I really, really want, like a big bucket of popcorn in the cinema or a packet of crisps, you know. When I am honouring my real hunger signals and looking after myself by getting enough sleep and drinking enough water and all those kind of things, the diet split tends to fall in and around like majority whole foods. And when I say that, I mean like a food you're eating and you could be mixing a big pile of whole foods together. For example, a bowl of oats with almond butter, which is ground up almonds, with berries, which is just berries. Like they're all one ingredient foods. So a whole food is just a one ingredient food, and I try and make most of my shopping when I go food shopping consist of one ingredient foods, and then that leaves plenty of space for the more processed variety, which are often delicious. Another habit is definitely that I have found things I like and I stick to them. I can eat the same nice meal over and over and over again and I will not get sick of it. Recently for me, I've been having a lot of corn being the meat replacement. So it's corn mince with taco shells, with taco seasoning in there, salsa, mashed up avocado, like just corn tacos essentially. And I've eaten them for so many dinners over the last month. I adore, and I do this a lot. I'll just have the same things all the time. That's kind of why I haven't been doing food diary videos as much, but if you missed them, definitely thumbs up this video so I know that there's a demand. I think it's really important to have tasty, healthy meals that you absolutely love listed out somewhere, just in case you ever just feel like you don't know what you want that day, and then you'll turn to something gungy just out of pure, not laziness, but just pure like empty-mindedness when it comes to the foods that you like. I like to only really eat gungy things when I'm craving them, and when I'm or when I'm getting together with a bunch of friends, or you know, the occasion calls for it. But other than that, I like to have good stuff kind of lined up, so I don't just go blank 4 nights a week and head into the Chinese. The only way you can really get there is by trying a lot of different things, and this is why I love Instagram accounts that post recipes or like YouTube videos. I just get so much inspiration from other people on the internet. The last really good food habit that I want to share is I just add greens anywhere I can. Green spinach, just a handful into a big fruit peanut buttery smoothie. Like, you cannot taste it. It turns it green, but you cannot taste it. Or I'll make a lentil pasta dish and I'll just throw a bunch of leaves onto the side of the plate and throw on a little bit of a nice dressing on the top, or chop up some red bell peppers so that eating the greens is a little bit more fun. I just kind of stick them in anywhere. If it's into a sandwich, if it's mashing up kale into mashed potatoes, I think it's so beneficial for your health to get it in there. And I know that my stomach just always works a lot better when I am having my veg. So yeah, getting in some greens every single day if I can, and again, plugging my journal line, but these are a great way to ensure that you are shoveling in the good shit. So yeah, someone suggested that I split this video into good food habits and bad food habits, but I don't believe in doing that. I don't feel bad when I have a food that is considered by society as bad, because I don't like to have black and white thinking around food. Food is to be enjoyed and it is fuel, and I've worked so hard on my mindset around food. I do hope some of these habits or tips or whatever inspire some of you to just kind of chill the fuck out a little bit, eat, enjoy, try new things, share this with people who you know who are struggling with food, please. Always trying to reach those people. I have inspired a lot of people to go and get help who have anorexia, and they constantly keep me updated on their journeys. And there are very few things that I've done in my life that have given me that sense of accomplishment, like helping someone who is struggling with food. On that note, before I send you packing, my first book, Fully Functioning Human Almost, has an entire section all about food and what it was like becoming overweight and then losing weight and developing eating disorders and developing a healthy relationship with food. Loads about body confidence. This book was actually featured in the Irish Leaving Certificate recently, which is our equivalent of, you know, the big school exams. I was deceased the day I found out, and yeah, I'm just really happy that this book is helping so many. If you don't want to read it, you can listen to the audiobook, but yeah, go forth, indulge in a feast, and I will see you again in another video very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, my internet family, and that's me done. Bye.